For the home cinephiles, for the living room athletes, for the sellers on the couch, and for the bedside analysts, for those who work outside their home in order to protect what's inside. I am dissolving social distancing. I am doing it today, as I did yesterday, as I'm going to do it tomorrow. I am all the telecom technology around you, and I thank you for bringing together vital experiences to those around us.
Salut și bine ați venit la o nouă ediție a emisiunii ZF IT Generation. Discutăm astăzi cu Mikk Läänemets, cofondator și General Counsel în cadrul startup-ului Income Marketplace din Estonia, care derulează în prezent o campanie de finanțare prin intermediul platformei SeedBlink din România. Hello Mikk and welcome to ZF IT Generation.
Hi, thanks for inviting.
Also, thank you very much for joining us here at ZF IT Generation. First of all, of course, I'm going to ask you to tell us about Income. What is this project and what are you aiming with this?
Yes, thanks. Income is a new investment marketplace. I think that's the shortest what we can say. We enable investors from Europe to invest into different types of credit products, loans. They can be consumer loans, SME loans, car leasing agreements, and so on. And the purpose is to offer simple and safe investments in a growing and alternative sector, let's say. Investments into loans have been growing very popular since, let's say, 2014-15, when Mint was launched. And it's definitely a growing area of business throughout the world, actually.
Okay, thank you very much for sharing this. Can you also tell us how did you come up with the idea to launch Income, and what kind of experience did you have in the founders team to start this project?
Thanks. Yeah, good question. We sort of started to get the idea of doing something in this sector, let's say early spring, summer last year. That's when we saw quite a bit of difficulties in existing investment marketplaces, where there were quite a bit of loan originators on those platforms who started to fail in the changing economic situations which COVID brought and so on. And then we were thinking with Kimmo, the founder, and some other people who we're doing this with, that actually this similar type of business can be done so much better. And myself and Kimmo, we have a long background in consumer lending. We raised funding for our lending business as well throughout the years, tens of millions. And we did financing transactions with a few very large funds who finance loan portfolios. And we basically saw how institutional investors deal with this kind of investments, how they structure them, what do they analyze. And we realized that actually nobody on the market is doing that in this type of platforms. And then we thought actually that, it's not that difficult. And we can cater that to retail investors who don't have that. And at the same time, we plan from the beginning to have this platform also for smaller institutional investors. So, as I say, I'm a lawyer. I used to work as an attorney in Estonia for several years, and we worked together with Kimmo for close to 5 years. So that's where I got the consumer lending background specifically. But yeah, we've known with Kimmo, I think, since 2010, and have gone through good and bad in terms of business previously. So I was involved in the consumer lending business through the exponential growth time specifically.
Please share with us what's the current status of your project, how developed it is.
We've gone actually We've done good steps in quite a short time, actually. We got the idea, as I said, last spring, summer. We started working on it last summer. We launched February this year. So effectively, we haven't been live even 1 year. Currently, we have 4 loan originators on the marketplace whose lending products are available for investment. We have a pipeline of, I don't even remember the exact number, but there's tens of loan originators in the pipeline. There's, let's say, about 4 or 5 who have gone through the due diligence process and who we are in the process of onboarding in coming months. We have, I think, cumulatively, a little bit over 3.3 million euros have been invested to these loan products on our platform by now. We're growing every week. So we're very optimistic in terms of what we can do, and we see a very, very good timing for the business on this market at the moment.
Also, you are having a campaign on the local platform here, SeedBlink, to attract an investment. I was curious, how did you end up doing this on SeedBlink? How did you hear about this platform, and why did you choose them?
Yes, correct. As all startups, we need money to grow, so we are fundraising at the moment. And we are raising money through SeedBlink as well. I think Kimmo was the one who actually got in touch with SeedBlink, and I think the key reason there was that it's actually a nice new startup in itself as well. They focus on these type of interesting tech companies, and we kind of thought that it's actually interesting to try to cooperate to see how much synergies we two can kind of combine. And so far, I think it has gone pretty well. So we're happy with that.
Yes, I was looking before starting the recording that you were quite close to reaching your main objective of the fundraising on SeedBlink. Please share with us why would anyone invest in your company? What kind of returns should they expect, and how secure is this investment?
Yeah, good question. I think everyone who's looking at investing into startups, they've realized pretty much 2 key things. One, that it's possible to make money by investing into startups, and B, it's always risky, right? So, I mean, I would suggest to do that just to be part of the journey. I think investors who are investing into startups, part of them are also investors on platforms like ourselves, and invest into the loan products. So I think investing in income via SeedBlink is basically enabling an investor to basically invest in the same sector from two different pipes. Nevertheless, everyone's investment appetite is different, and everyone makes their investment decisions themselves. So.
Coming back to your project, to Income, which are the main differences between Income Marketplace and other services platforms that are existing on the market?
Yeah, good question. I would maybe start. Let's say, historically. Maybe even 10 years ago or more, a terminology called P2P lending came up. And let's say the first generation P2P lenders were basically companies who provided loans to people. A borrower could sign up on the platform, say that, hey, for example, I need a 500 euro loan. And then, for example, people like you and me could sign up from a different angle as investors. And we could see on the platform that there is Martin from country X, wants 500 euros. He's, let's say, 30 years old, works as a construction man. That's basically all I know. okay, I'll take the risk and lend the money to him because he's promising to pay, let's say, 20% interest. Now, if Martin didn't pay up, then basically pretty much you lost your money. Then let's say the second generation, which came on about 5-6 years ago, was when the platform started to implement like buyback guarantees, and they started to actually look more into the lending companies. So those platforms started to connect the lending companies and investors this way that lending companies firstly needed to pay the loans out from their own money, and then they could basically refinance it through those platforms by enabling investors like you and me to buy parts of those loans. Significant jump in terms of technology and the way that business was done. But what often happened was that the investment itself wasn't too secure or properly secured. Let's say how the information from the lending company to the platform and investor was shared was not also very clear, and it didn't always correlate to the reality of how that loan was actually performing. Meaning that we eventually had issues like last spring when lending companies basically simply plugged the API connection and didn't pick up the phone, and then basically those platforms were pants down and didn't really even know what to do, and the investors were bad. So basically, that kind of brings us to what we are doing and what problems we saw. So we thought it's actually the similar type of business can be done if the investment is properly secured, if you have some security in the background, meaning that in the let's say the second generation, where the loan originator had the buyback obligation in cases where the ultimate borrower didn't pay. If you had the buyback obligation, then the lending company would buy that loan back from you and you get your money. So your risk would be that if the lending company goes bankrupt, he will not buy it back from you. You still lose your money. So basically what we are doing is taking that one step further and securing the system this way that we are actually in control of the loan, 100% of that loan, regardless of how much the investors have invested in there. And if the loan originator does go bankrupt or defaults otherwise, then we are enabled, together with the collection partners, to collect 100% of the repayments from each of those loans, so that we can cover the investors one-to-one, because the investors never invest 100% into each loan, but a specific amount what we've calculated based on the various risks and the loan portfolio performance.
Thank you so much for this piece of history and many explanation on what's happening on the market and what kind of things are you doing differently. What can you share about your plans for the future? What are you aiming for?
Inherently, the plan is to grow. As I said, we accept investors from Europe, but we have a global reach. We are interested in onboarding loan companies across the world, and actually we have done that since the very beginning. We have a Brazilian loan originator, a Finnish SME lender, an Indonesian consumer lending company, and a Latvian car financing company on the platform at the moment. We are in the process of onboarding a few Mexican and other Latin American lenders, also few more from Southeast Asia and few from Europe. So we keep our eyes open in terms of regions and also in terms of sectors. So as I said, these digital assets, they can be from all types of non-bank lenders, and we're constantly figuring out how and which type of assets we could introduce more on the platform. Nevertheless, loans and credit products are the way to go.
Thank you very much for sharing. I have an additional question about the way you are onboarding lenders on the platform. You said, and I said that investing in startups carries some kind of risks, but I guess anyone who is pondering an investment in income in your platform is thinking, how are they filtering the lenders that are accepted on the platform? How thorough? How many details are you looking at when you are looking at a lender to add on the platform? What are you looking at, and how are you trying to get only the good players, the best players on the market, on your platform?
Yes. Basically, we carry out full legal and financial due diligence on the loan originators. The heavy lifting is on financial analysis of the loan book and the performance of it. This is taken to pieces historically. So we go through everything that basically relates to the loan origination, collection, and the related policies in there as well. Financially, these things are analyzed by our financial due diligence department, who have quite a bit of experience in that. The key in terms of investing into loan products is actually the performance of those loan products themselves. How the loan book performs. But I mean, we look down to the ultimate beneficial owners. This is our common strategy, and this is what we do. Also to be bankable and so on. So we take a thorough look.
Okay, and for the end of our discussion, please share with us some data about the startup ecosystem in Estonia. I'm asking you this as we see a lot of interesting projects as yours and a lot of unicorns born out of the country.
Yes, Estonian startup ecosystem is definitely booming. It's been really interesting to see what has been done in this sector during the last 10 plus years. I think it was a really, really good initiative from the government more than 10 years ago to start investing into startup environment, creating funds which could invest into startups and new businesses. Today, we have a few unicorns in the country. We are very known for startups, that's for sure. And I think this is just starting to get the second gear in, because the first huge exits have been done by local startup owners. There's a lot of new capital on the market as well, and everybody's busy.
Okay, thank you very much, Mikk, for sharing this and for joining us today at ZF IT Generation.
Thank you.
Thank you again for joining us, and I wish you the best of luck with your project. Vă mulțumesc pentru că ne-ați urmărit. Aceasta a fost ediția de astăzi a ZF IT Generation. La revedere!